Maneko64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So this is my second video today. It's July 20th, 2022. It's Wednesday. I might not publish it today, but it could come out tomorrow as well. So why a second video? Sometimes I do a second video, but this one is very important in my opinion. I was doing a video earlier today, of course, that I published. And it's entitled, "There is a Simple Way to Stop Inflation." Of course, today we had the CPI data in the UK. The numbers were at a 40-year high. So the Bank of England is out of control. They're way behind the curve. And yes, there's a simple way to stop inflation. That was the title of the video. I used the Bank of England calculator, which I have used many times in the past to prove the point that under a gold standard, there was no inflation. There was actually a small price decrease on average every year from 1821 to 1914. So the pound in your pocket during that period actually gained a little bit of value by 1914. So I decided to look at the Bank of England inflation calculator again today. And I found something stunning. Basically, the Bank of England has gone full banana republic. And what does that mean? Well, they basically are fudging the numbers. And I have concrete proof of that because I found a video from last year where I used the Bank of England inflation calculator and I've compared it to now. When I was making my video this morning, I kind of noticed it, and you probably, if you have watched that video, you probably noticed that I said, it looks like they tinkering with the number. So after I finished that video, I wanted to look at it. I had to find my old video from last year, and that's what I'm going to show you today. And I think we need to reference as well someone called Jean-Claude Juncker. So who is this bozo or politician? Well, here we go. He was president of the European Commission from November 1st, 2014 to the 30th of November, 2019. I guess he left just before COVID. And more importantly, he was president of the Euro Group from 2005 to 2013. That was the period when you had the European sovereign debt crisis. And what's Mr. Juncker have to do with the Bank of England and the fact that they're fudging the data? They're actually misleading investors and the public. Well, this is what Mr. Juncker said. According to the Telegraph, says here, Jean-Claude Juncker profile. When it becomes serious, you have to lie. That's what he said. So let's quickly go through what this was in reference to. It says, at the height of the Eurozone crisis, Mr. Juncker was described as the master of lies for organizing a meeting of finance ministers to talk about whether Greece could remain in the single currency and then trying to deny it was taking place. Germany's Süddeutsche Zeitung accused Mr. Juncker of taking the lead on the deception and warned he had managed to fritter away the last remaining trust the people of Europe still have. Mr. Juncker has never hidden his view that the compromises and deals being worked out in EU meetings or leaders or ministers need to be protected from public scrutiny by lies if necessary. So this is his famous quote. When it becomes serious, you have to lie, he said. So I'm going to come back to that after we look at what the Bank of England has been doing. So yes, I used this today in my video comparing the pound from 1914 to 2021, which is the latest numbers they have. And it came out around 4.2 year on year. And I thought, oh, that seems lower, because I always remember it was around 4.7 or 4.8. So I found my video from June last year. And as you can see here, I've taken the same period, 1914 to 2020. And back then, the inflation averaged 4.6 a year for those 106 years. And you might think, well, 4.6, 4.2, that doesn't make much difference. Oh, yes, it does. Over 100 years, it does. And the other thing that I'm asking now is, where were these numbers 5-10 years ago before I started looking into it? Could they be fudging it for a lot longer? Or could it be just because of the current sharp rise in prices, the fact that they've lost control of prices? Is that why they're trying to fudge the data to make it so that, they're not questioned by the politicians or by the public? So you can see that it's made a big difference. Last year, according to the Bank of England calculator, you needed 118 pounds last year to equal the pound of 1914. And somehow that's dropped to 78.53. But here's also the more important, how can I say, period. And why is that? Well, because the Bank of England was given independence by Gordon Brown in 1997. And I heard the other day, I think someone come out. It might have been someone from the government. You see, the government could be involved in this as well. It's not just the Bank of England. And that's the whole problem, because I don't think the politicians are really going to rock the boat with the Bank of England. But yes, Bank of England is supposed to have a CPI, or inflation target, of 2% since they gained independence. And last year, in this video, and I'm going to put a link to this video in the cards and in the description, I said that the Bank of England was actually, they've missed the target. From 1997 to 2020, CPI was running at 2.7. Again, doesn't sound like much, 0.7, but it makes a huge difference over the years. And I would say this number is probably even higher. But surprisingly today, I wanted to look at this. And I don't think I looked at this in the video, but I was thinking about it when I was talking to you in the video this morning. And so I checked 1997 to 2020. So last year, according to the Bank of England, CPI, or inflation, averaged 2.7 year on year for basically 23 years. So what's changed in the last 23 years that now it only averages 1.9% a year? And the amount of pounds you need to get a pound from 1997 is 155 instead of 186. Well, I think the Bank of England is desperate, and because they've lost control of prices. They haven't really lost control of inflation, if you know what inflation is. They're the ones with the government that created inflation. So why are they doing this, the Bank of England? Well, because they want to cover themselves. Because, as I said, they created the inflation with the government. They're losing control of prices, and they're trying to cover their backs. And they've resorted to fudging the numbers. They've resorted to the Juncker strategy, right? When things get serious, and they're getting serious, you lie. And I don't like to use that term, but I'm sorry, this is concrete proof that something's going on here for them to lower this number massively. It's almost 1% a year for the last 23 years. They've lowered it by the average, because it's from 2.7 to 1.9. That's a huge difference. I'm not sure who they're trying to fool here. Maybe someone at the Bank of England might want to contact me and let me know why they've done that. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff in the West that we say that the Chinese do, right? That they fudge the numbers. Well, I'm afraid to say that the Bank of England is doing that. So is it that hard to understand now that they manipulate everything, not just their data, but also maybe their balance sheets? Maybe the Fed is actually still doing QE through the back door, but they're hiding it. So another reason not to hold their promises. And what are their promises? Well, it's the currency that we use, and that's why I'm holding on to my precious metals as well as I can, and I'm trying to actually get more if I come into a surplus, a good surplus of fiat currency, i.e. savings. So as you know, I've been very critical, and I have been very critical of central banks and this system, the fraudulent nature of this system. But I never expected the Bank of England to actually fudge these numbers here, and they've done so. And this is proof that they've done so. I'm sure they're going to come out with an excuse that they've used another measure and they have revised the numbers. But why now? Why didn't they do it last year? I think we know why. It's because they're losing the war here. They're losing a lot of battles, and they're scared. And that's why you need to get your savings out of the system. That's my opinion. Billy thinks the same way. That's why he's called Billy Bullion. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this far and wide. You need to let the public, not only in the UK, but all over the West and the US know this. These central bankers are lying about everything, I would say. And think about subscribing to my channel as well if you haven't yet. And with that, I wish you all a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye.